Hello people of the internet, this is the Geek Gaming Culture channel, and I had just got done publishing the Dr. Disrespect video to breakdown of everything that's been going on with the Dr. Disrespect Cody Connors situation. When I saw this come in at 4:45 p.m., this is from a game dev studio called Midnight Society, which had a partnership with Dr. Disrespect. However, it seems as though that is now on the mend, and this is going to get extremely difficult because, well, you'll see here in just a second. They tweeted this out, quote, "On Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Guy Bream, aka Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved. And in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Guy Bream immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families we have employed along with our community of players." Now, this says a few things. One, either they're going on the Cody Connor accusation alone, or they have access to something no one else has, which is very unbelievable to hear. Because the language of this insinuates that they had access to the person that Dr. Disrespect would have met up with at TwitchCon if things were accurate and true. But they make no mention of the current information we have about Cody Connors. No mention about the issues that went on last year with him trying to say, hey, if I had the sellouts, I'll tell you why he was banned. Cody Connors not saying the name of the person that they are referring to, even though we have every suspicion to believe that Dr. Disrespect is the person that they're referring to while doing a CYA there. There's way too many questions, but it seems like Midnight Society, what they're doing is they're acting on accusations alone, unless they have access to something that none of us do, which is, again, very unbelievable because isn't there still NDAs? Dr. Disrespect is not going to tell people what he was banned for because it is an NDA. They agreed to this. So why are they talking to this game dev studio and no one else? What do they know that we're never allowed to know? Who did they talk to that we're not allowed to talk to? Who is it that said to them, hey, this is true? What do they have that we don't? What we're asking for is some hard factual evidence that right now only they have, apparently. And I do want to direct your attention to an Aftermath article written by Riley MacLeod, and it's saying that why journalists can't always tell you what they know, and we're not trying to keep secrets from you. Now, first of all, yes, they do keep secrets from you. Some of the more recent news stories from mainstream outlets like MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News will keep secrets from you because they are out there trying to protect their advertisers. Make no mistake about it, that's what they do. They are keeping secrets from you because they don't want you to know something that would directly affect the advertisers that are paying money so those networks can stay on the air, or that these outlets are trying to stay afloat. There are certain things they don't want you knowing, so they are absolutely lying about that. And plus, Riley MacLeod gets something completely wrong about the article, saying that Disrespect responded to one quote tweet of Connors. While that is somewhat correct, he was actually responding to Jake Lucky, and Jake Lucky was the one who quote tweeted Cody Connors. Now, Midnight Society, did you have any knowledge of what Cody Connors was saying last year, or what Savvy was saying about him continuing to edit things and delete and retweet? There's something very weird going on, and I don't understand why a game dev studio knows more than a journalist or somebody who has a Substack or anything of that sort. Yes, journalists do hide some things. Why do you think they're going after Mike Taibbi? Why do you think Brianna Joy Gray was fired from Rising recently? Or why Katie Halper was fired from there? Yes, I am bringing that up. Yes, journalists can and sometimes do hide stuff because it is inconvenient for their employers or for them. So don't give me that BS, Ryan. Don't give me that. Yes, they absolutely can, and they absolutely do. So now the responsibility now goes on to Midnight Society. What do you know that we don't? Why are you allowed to know about what's going on, but none of us are able to? And if the journalists are not trying to hide anything from us, then what do you know? You can find a way to word things to where we have some idea of what the heck is going on without delving your innermost secrets from anybody. There are ways you could do it. This is why we went after Jason Schreier. When he exposed the stuff of Activision Blizzard, he could have done it months sooner, but he never did. Why? Because he needed to keep his business relations afloat. He could have came with the allegations a little bit sooner and then just said, I cannot confirm myself at this time, but this is what I'm hearing. And if there is any truth to something like this, that they know, that Twitch knows, that no one else is allowed to know, why aren't we hearing from authorities? Because Twitch is going to be culpable in this too if they're hiding something from everybody. We have to find out what is going on now, right now, because this is getting ridiculous. 4 years to the fact that we still are not allowed to know what's going on, but this one studio all of a sudden has access to the victims, has access to the people involved, and are able to talk. Just them. Just this one studio. 4 years after he was banned. 4 years. And Twitch seemingly knew what was going on. Yet they couldn't tell anybody. All of a sudden they tell this studio what's going on. And apparently they don't have the steer from anybody else. All they have to do is talk to someone we have no idea if they're even made up or not. And the worst thing about this is that now the wound has now opened up in that lawsuit, because what has happened is now there is financial culpability, loss of financial backing. So if Dr. Disrespect has any inkling to sue somebody, he now has further justification. So yeah, we need to know what's going on. There is no excuse anymore for this. And this whole thing with keeping things secret, no one's allowed to know. No one's allowed to know. Yeah, no one's allowed to know anything to be able to defend themselves from anything. This is not the first time or the last time this is ever going to happen. Somebody needs to get in on why Twitch and YouTube are allowed to keep things secret from the people who need this information in order to fight their accusations, in order to appeal and try to get things sorted out. If they're not allowed to know what they're being accused of, how can they defend themselves? You would not find this in any jurisdiction of police or law enforcement. So why is it allowed here? Because they're private companies? But if they hold a monopoly over most of their section of social media, then it's no longer a product, it is a service. And so they need to be held to a different standard than if they were just a product or a private company. So I don't know. Maybe they have information we don't, but if they do, they need to say something. Midnight Society needs to say something, because this is ridiculous. How they have access to something that none of us ever had access to before? Unless it's Cody that's giving them this information, and I would shudder to think if that were true. As always, to be continued.